Iran has announced that it is rolling back its commitments under the landmark nuclear deal, marking a further and dramatic escalation of tensions in the Middle East following the assassination of the Iranian general Qasem Soleimani by the US in Baghdad on Friday. In a statement, Tehran said it would remove all limits on uranium enrichment, but those steps could be reversed if Washington lifted its sanctions on Tehran. It comes as Soleimani's remains have been returned to Iran with enormous fanfare. The multi-city funeral procession is said to be even bigger than the honours given to the late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Here you can see the huge crowds in the city of Mashhad as his coffin was brought out onto a stage. The crowd was so large that its journey onto Tehran has been postponed. Meanwhile, in the country where Soleimani was killed, the Iraqi parliament has passed a resolution ordering all foreign troops out of the country and banning them from using Iraq's land, air and waters for any reason. James Robbins reports.
Tens of thousands of Iranians are mourning General Soleimani and apparently getting behind their leaders promising revenge. The chants are familiar, including death to America, but the context has radically changed. The war of words from both sides is intensifying. President Trump has tweeted this threat of massive retaliation. If Iran strikes any Americans or American assets, he says, we have targeted 52 Iranian sites, some at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture. And those targets and Iran itself will be hit very fast and very hard. The USA wants no more threats.
Is there still risk of attack? Of course there is. There's a tremendous risk. Right. And we're doing everything we can to make sure that we take that down and protect American lives. That's the mission set. When the president laid out his national security strategy 3 years ago, this is all in the context of a larger American strategy to create peace and stability in the Middle East.
In the Iraqi capital Baghdad, where the general was killed in the American strike, Iraq's parliament has expressed its outrage, voting for the removal of all foreign forces from the country, although the decision is not necessarily binding. America is busy sending reinforcements to the wider region. In practice, around 5,000 US forces in Iraq are unlikely to leave soon. But the US-led coalition has announced a pause in training of Iraqi forces and operations against IS or Daesh. The whole focus now will be on protecting its bases. James Robbins, BBC News.
Let's get a reaction from Washington now. Jane O'Brien is there for us. Jane, welcome to you. Tell us more about what Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State's been saying.
Well, he's really been doing the rounds this morning, appearing doing several interviews on American networks and really trying to shore up support at home here in America for the decision to kill Qasem Soleimani, saying that it was entirely legal and that, again, reiterating that there was intelligence that indicated that a major attack was being planned on American interests. Now, the big problem for the administration, of course, is that it has not made that intelligence public. It has sent a formal notification to Congress now, which it's required to do under law, outlining the case and detailing that intelligence. But a lot of people are still questioning why now? What was the justification? And really, frankly, was it worth the risk?
With the Iraqi parliament calling for all foreign troops to leave the country, what happens now for the thousands of US troops stationed there?
Nothing immediately, because this is a vote at this point and it may not actually come into force. But when asked specifically about this, Mike Pompeo said that he was watching the situation carefully but was unwilling to speculate on what the next steps might be. As far as Donald Trump is concerned, and his supporters probably wouldn't be heartbroken at troops coming home anyway, because a lot of them are questioning why American forces are in the Middle East in the first place. And Donald Trump himself is not an interventionist. But in practical terms, if they were removed, then that would clearly lessen America's influence in the region, give Iran more of an opening, which is again another contradiction with the policy that the administration appears to have adopted at the moment. And it would mean that America was less effective in its mission to reduce the power of Islamic State.
Jane, within the past hour, Iran announced that it's rolling back its commitments under the landmark nuclear deal, a deal which, of course, Donald Trump walked away from in 2018. Have we had any response, do you think we will, on this?
No response as yet, but the White House, the administration, has always maintained that Iran wasn't in compliance with the deal anyway, so I don't think there will be much surprise. I think this is of more concern to the Europeans, who've been trying to keep Iran within the parameters of the agreement, even as the US walked away from the deal.
OK, Jane O'Brien in Washington for now. Thank you.